Thank you so much for joining in to the FFM instructional webinar. Today we're going to go through how to register and complete your certification for individual and shop on the healthcare.gov portal for the year 2016. For those of you that are new to the format, if you have questions, you can either raise the little hand icon on your control panel to the right of your screen, and I'll unmute you, and you can ask your question live, or you can type it in to the question box, and I'll answer the questions at the end of the presentation. Also, the webinar is being recorded, and I've also included the slide deck for you. You'll be getting that as well, and I think some of the slides in there may be helpful as you go through your testing and registration. So just one more word on our website, which is url.insgroup.com. Every webinar that we do, whether it's my weekly PPACA webinar, which is every Thursday at 9:30, or for life, senior, annuities, the specialty lines, all of those webinars are recorded, and if you go to our homepage, on the right-hand side, you'll see the YouTube icon, and you can click on that, and you can see the library of recorded webinars. So let's get started with this instructional webinar. And I have to, first of all, apologize for the look of the slides because it was a mad dash yesterday. As you know, we've been waiting for this webinar, or the release of the training, so that we could offer this webinar, and we had to postpone it because originally the certification modules were supposed to be released September 1st, and then it was the week of the 7th, and it was 10 a.m. yesterday, and we got them around 11 o'clock yesterday. So that's why they're not really polished, like I had hoped they would be. But we'll get started. And for those of you that want to do your testing for this year and your certification, it is in a different site. It all starts with portal.cms.gov. And for those of you that did register the last 2 years, the very first year, this portal was what was considered part 2 of your registration. So many of you that have been selling on the exchange have already done this part, so you should have your username and password already. But this is where you would go. You would log on to this site, log on to the CMS Secure Portal, and your password, of course, and then hit login. You would go to, at the left-hand side of your screen, there's My Portal and there's MLMS. If you just click on MLMS, you're going to get these screens talking about the completing agent broker training. If you click on this hyperlink that says complete agent broker training, you're going to be redirected here. These are the sources for which you can obtain your certification. Again, this is a new format this year. So some of these vendors offer CE courses as well, and all of them except the last option has a cost associated with it. So if you choose to go through America's Health Insurance Plans, or AHIP, they're going to charge you, pardon me, they're going to charge you $125 just for the individual market training. If you also want to pick up the shop, it's an additional $25 for a total of $150. So that's AHIP training. And I don't see anything about the CE courses included in that, but again, that's an option for you. Gorman is charging $29 for the testing, and there's an additional $5 for some states because there are CE credits associated with it. But from what it looked like to me when I went in there and clicked on it, it's for Pennsylvania, the CEs have not been approved. They're still pending, so it's a $29 charge if you choose to go through Gorman. And then NAHU is also one of the accepted vendors of these programs, and their charge for members is $102, And for non-members, it's a very specific 117.78. But you can earn up to 21 CE. So, again, for some of you that may be worth it. I, on the other hand, chose the free access. And to get to that, you can either hit Access Training or go back to your home page and hit the actual training button up here on the top left hand of your screen. So it will bring you back to here, and it will redirect to the new Marketplace Learning Network. It's going to make you register. And most of this information will already be in there from your registration for 2014. If you do choose to use one of the third-party vendors, you're going to need the code to put in here once that information or that testing is completed. This is just the bottom of the screen. Once you update your information on the top of the screen, you're going to go down and save and update or hit next. It's going to redirect you to the training options. And there's a couple ways, as there have always been, to get into the training. But you can either click on the training options and the actions. You can launch or enroll. There's also a screen where you can bring up the recommendations, click on both individual and shop, and bookmark it. And then once it's bookmarked, you can check again and activate. Again, this is nothing new to everybody, just maybe a new look. It's multiple clicks for what you want to do. And again, you just kind of go through the screens and activate and launch those training modules. Again, there's another way to activate and enroll in these modules. There are 14 modules for the individual section this year with 3 tests. Once you bring up the curriculum and you complete or you enroll in the curriculum, you're going to, again, see this list of training sessions. But once you enroll, it's going to change for the modules, and you just hit launch for each one. Once you're completed with one of these modules, then just like the last 2 years, that's going to show completed, and the next option is going to prime automatically for you. You can always go back to current learning, and that's going to get you back to where you need to be for your next module, and it should be in this screen. So they look very similar to what they did the last 2 years. You're going to go through your basic modules again. There are some changes, though, and I wanted to talk a little bit about some of those changes so that you're not hung up in the training. This is one of the first screens, and it says it's divided into 18 modules. The 18 also includes the shop, but you'll see that there are different sort of hyperlinked radio buttons, and with this system now, it makes you click on each one. So you're going to click on basic, you're going to click on individual, privacy and security, FF, shop, marketplace. The system won't allow you to go on until you click on all the hyperlinks that it wants you to. So if you're looking to just do a quick click through, which I have to admit I was looking to do, it won't allow you to do that. It forces you to look at some of these modules. Again, as you recall from the last 2 years, there were issues with hitting exit or just end. But for these systems, you always go to the exit at the top of the right-hand screen. It's going to ask you if you want to exit, and it's perfectly fine. You won't lose anything to hit OK. Again, it's going to take you all back to the current learning. And I just went back and did a couple screenshots because I wanted to make sure that you kind of knew the system. And again, there's multiple avenues to get to the same place. but if you always go back to current learning, you're going to get back to where you left off. So again, you see that this was a screenshot that I captured after the first module was completed, and you can see that now first module is gone and it prompts you already for the second module. Easy stuff, nothing that you guys aren't familiar with. More screenshots again. You could launch from here, so again, multiple ways. Lesson loading. This is one of the screens that I thought I should share because I got stumped on this, and again, it's making you open up all these hyperlinks. This particular shared responsibility screen 6 of 33 stumped me because you have to actually click on 2015, and then this verbiage will show up. If you click over here, 2016, this verbiage will show up. You can't move on until you click. So that's one of the screens that stumped me, and I just wanted to make sure you were aware of that. All of these, every single one has to be clicked on. Same with these, the varying rates. This is what you're going to see when when you complete your testing, that it's successful, the status. From each of these icons, you can print your certificate. That's a big change and improvement from the last 2 years. It was difficult to print those certificates. And again, it just keeps prompting you. I'm going to rush through some of these screens because they're a bit redundant, but again, I didn't really have the time to clean this up as I wanted to. Here's another screen that really drove all of us nuts. You have to click on the 7 different fruits. Yeah, you'll have fun once you get to it, seriously. And then again, you're going to see that, if you've passed your test, it will say congratulations. You hit the exit button. Some of the screens that you're going to be receiving, I thought were important. It does have that you could, of course, check your answers again. Privacy standards and definitions, I thought that was important. There are privacy agreements that you can give to your client, and part of the training is telling you to make sure that your clients have that privacy agreement as to how you're going to use their information and why you're collecting it and how the marketplace is going to use their information. So that's something you should hand out to them prior to taking any information. Just more definitions. I thought this screen was kind of important to do a capture because we have a lot of questions on immigrant families and what that really means as far as eligibility. So there's some good information in there that you're going to have in your screen kit or screen package as a resource. These are documents to verify immigration status. Each one of these needs to be clicked on as well. Once you click on them, it gives you additional information. But again, I thought I wanted to capture this screen just for reference when we run into the immigrants. This is one that you click through all the rooms in the household. But I thought, again, this was important. It talks about the taxable households and putting different taxable households, even though they live under one roof, onto different applications. I thought that was interesting and good to have as a resource. The individual responsibility exemption has been 8%, so it is now going to 8.13%, and what that means is if the cost of the health insurance exceeds 8% of the household income for this year and last year, then they're exempt. If they waive off of insurance, they're exempt from the penalty because it's exceeded 8%. I thought it was noteworthy to add that it's now 8.13 as of 2016. This is the 2015 FPL chart, and it says the federally facilitated marketplace will use the 2015 guidelines when making calculations for the insurance affordability program starting November 1st, 2015. I thought I wanted to capture that for your reference as well. This is a good thing about your MAGI and what that really means. Again, for your reference. This is a trick question, so I thought I'd talk about the medicated chip and how it's the difference in the household income versus like the monthly income. There's additional screens on that, but basically, if somebody is eligible for medicated chip, they're not eligible to apply on their parents' plan with a premium tax credit or cost sharing. This information, the cost sharing reductions, that is where this is the income range for the 3 different levels of the cost sharing reductions, the income range, and what their max out of pocket will be for 16. I thought that was good information to share as well. Just more information. This screen talks about the special enrollment periods and the type of special qualifying events and what that means as far as eligibility for effective date. There are 2 screens with this information, and again, that's going to be in your slides, so you can use this as reference. And the privacy and security, this is for the individual marketplace. There's only one place to click that you agree. Last year, if you recall, and the year before, there were 2 places. It's only one place this year to hit agree. And then you'll see that this module is 100% complete. You can go into actions and print your certificates. This is the shop agreement. This year, for 2016, again, the shop modules are not a requirement, just the agreement. So if you want to do the modules for the shop as well, that's certainly your prerogative, but the only thing required in order to sell in 2016 for shop on healthcare.gov is the shop agreement, and that is 13 pages, 1 place to agree. So again, you'll see in your completed learning segment, you'll see everything that was done, scores, etc. And down here at the bottom, you'll see the shop marketplace. The certification was acquired. I can print certificate. I can view all the different paths, details, etc., and the individual market as well. So it's a good place to go and not only check your status and the scores, but also check the or print your certificate. Oh, you don't see the poor score that I got on that security and privacy and security. I barely passed that one, so that's as difficult as it was last year. So when you go back to the home page of portal.cms.gov, under your training, you're going to see now that you are able to print certificates. So again, you can print certificates from this line as well, or from this link as well, but again, multiple places to do the same things. It is, I have to say, an easier system to manipulate and maneuver than the old system, but it is new. So with anything new, there are some confusion. There is some confusion. So just keep in mind that there's multiple ways to get to everywhere you want to go. So as far as the certificates and where to send those, this is the information that I have at this point. We don't have all of the carriers' information yet on where to send them, but we do have NEPA and Geisinger, and of course Highmark Central and Western and Independence will still be Sales Sentinel. So if you have access to that as you have in the past, then you can go ahead and upload those certificates. I will have the links and instructions once they release those. So I mentioned to watch for details, continue to watch for details on the how, what, when, and where to send your certificates. So you want to make sure that they're in, because if the carriers don't receive them, then you cannot get compensation for any cases that stay on the books from 15 to 16, and you can't write new cases and receive compensation. So it's very important to get those certificates in. And, you know, as always, I thank you for your participation. If you have questions, you can reach me, or you can reach any of the case managers. You can reach Elise at extension 114, Judy at 104, and Katrina at 159. So that's pretty much it for the webinar. Hopefully it's been helpful. And there are some questions, not many. Dave asks, how many fee credits do we get through AHIP? AHIP, they did not mention CEs. I don't see anything on. It says it gives you the option to help facilitate your continuing education credit processing, and it says see below for a list of states that will offer CEs. And let me see here. Looks like Pennsylvania is on the list to offer CEs through AHIP, but I don't know how many CEs. Certificates are due, Dave, by 11/1, the opening of the enrollment, or when your first case hits. And Michelle says, can we still write all apps under agency? Absolutely, absolutely. If you, you know, the person that is submitting the business, the one that is going to be ultimately paid commissions, needs to be certified. And that's pretty much it. You know, it's that time of year again. We're all here to help you, so just keep that in mind. It does get confusing, but I do think that the system, once you get in, it's pretty easy to maneuver. So just keep it in mind. And again, any questions you have, please reach out to us. We're always very happy to help. And that's pretty much it. You know, we'll get the recording out to you with the slides. You should get those, and we'll just go from there. It's the beginning of a pretty busy season for all of us in the under 65 and for the Medicare market. So let's rest up while we can, get all this testing done, and go get them as of 11/1. So thanks again for joining in. Have a great day. Bye-bye.